Let me tell you how it all started. Right in the middle of the kind of afternoon that makes you think nothing bad can possibly happen, birds chirping, sunlight glinting off crystal, laughter floating through the air, then Charlotte Alden's voice cut through all that, sharper than a broken bottle. "You were just a lowly maid." Yeah, that happened. I felt forks stop midair, whole tables freezing, and every head snapping my way like suddenly I was the main attraction at the garden restaurant, not the bride in her shiny white dress. I was just Maya William, catering staff, standing by a table with a centerpiece that had shifted just an inch. Nothing fell, nothing spilled, but that was enough for Charlotte to lock in, pointing at me in front of God and everyone. "This is a wedding, not a church potluck," she said. The words rolled off her tongue the way people who never had to worry about money always talk down to the help. I kept my cool, told her I'd fix it, but it was already too late. Charlotte's mother, Margaret, stepped up, pursed lips, eyes sweeping me from head to toe. "You people should know better than to touch what you can't afford." There was you people, not staff, not Maya, not even human, really just someone who didn't belong. The whole crowd went dead silent, like everyone was holding their breath to see if I'd shatter. Then Charlotte pushed it further, crossed her arms and snarled, "If you want to keep your little paycheck, maybe you should drop to your knees and apologize publicly." My hand paused on that vase, but I straightened up, looked her dead in the eyes. "I've already apologized, and I'll fix the centerpiece. But I won't kneel." The color drained from her face, red rising like a tide. "You people always act like victims, always trying to belong in our world." That stung, but I didn't flinch. And just when I thought that was it, a new voice spoke up loud, controlled but packing thunder. "What did you just say?" It was Grant Kingsley, the groom, stepping out from behind the arch, tall in his tux, jaw clenched. He didn't look at Mayhay, stared straight at Charlotte. "You disrespected my father." Now the air got heavy. "My father is a black man you invited to sit in the front row today. When you talk down to Maya like that, you insult him. And me. I won't marry into a family that sees people like Maya as less." For a second, even the birds stopped singing. Then, in one smooth motion, Grant pulled the ring off his finger and dropped it in Charlotte's hand. "This wedding is off. You ever seen a whole life unravel in 30 seconds? Chairs scraping, guests muttering, some walking out, some staring at me like I just set the place on fire. I didn't say a word. I just walked away, head high, through the oaks and sunlight, past the wreckage of someone else's perfect day. The whispers behind me felt like a wave crashing. He left because of her? Did that really just happen? I reached the staff area, hands still dusted with lemon polish and rose petals, and Carmen, a pastry girl, grabbed my arm. "Did he just call off the wedding for you?" I shook my head, feeling the weight. "He called it off because of what he believes." I just gave him a reason to say it out loud. The manager, Mr. Langston, called me into his office, not warm, not cruel, just tired. "This is a disaster, Maya." He explained the Aldens were a big deal, that the phone was already ringing off the hook with angry calls. "Are you firing me?" I asked. "Not firing, paid leave. Until this blows over." I collected my things, barely feeling my feet. Marcus, the barback, stopped me by the door, eyes blazing. "That wasn't just rude, Maya. That was hate." And you stood up. He grinned, looked like he was seeing me for the first time. "I'm proud of you." Halfway across the parking lot, I heard footsteps. Grant, this time in shirt sleeves, tie gone, looking tired but real. "You don't owe me anything," I told him, but he shook his head. "If you hadn't stood up, I might have gone through with it. I want to join my new restaurant team in Austin front of house leadership, a place where nobody is ever asked to kneel for dignity." I was stunned. "You're offering me a job? A chance to build something better," he replied. I told him I'd think about it. "Thank you for seeing what others didn't," I managed. "My father made sure I'd know better," he said, and walked away. That night, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing texts from Carmen, Marcus, even people I'd never met. A shaky video of the whole scene was online. Suddenly, I was trending, just Lily Maid. Strangers sent messages thanking me, some with stories that sounded just like mine. Not everyone was kind. Some said I'd ruined a rich girl's life, that I should have done my job and shut up. But for every cruel comment, There were 10 more from people who'd been made to kneel and stayed silent. I felt seen, and that mattered more than I thought possible. By noon, it was all over the news. Grant called to say the new restaurant, Uprise, was a go. Every leadership role for people of color, Maya. And I want you on my team not as a symbol, but because you lead with grace under pressure. I told him yes, not because I felt brave, but because I was tired of being invisible. Uprise opened quietly, no fancy parties, just a soft launch with teachers, kitchen workers, bus drivers. I greeted everyone by name. Marcus brought his mom. Carmen wore heels for the first time. Ruth, our oldest server, hugged me and whispered, "You cracked something open for us." It wasn't pride, I felt it was peace. Then came the backlash of video of Whitney, the ex-bride, ranting on someone's phone, saying, "That little maid's success won't last. Her kind always overreaches." I wanted to ignore it, but karma didn't. The Alden's business crashed, their sponsors pulled out, and I felt honestly not vindicated, just exhausted. Marcus asked if I wanted to bury her. No, I said. I'm not here to bury. I'm here to build. An uprise kept growing. A congressional roundtable asked me to speak about racial equity in hospitality. I went, not for myself, but for every dishwasher, every maid who never got an invitation. One day, a familiar name popped up on the reservation list: Eliza Kingsley, Whitney's mother. She came in alone, nervous, left a letter instead of a check. I raised my daughter to think she was better than you because I let her believe she wrote. But you taught me what dignity really means. I cried reading That Didn't Expect To, but sometimes healing slips up on you. Even Whitney came eventually, bringing sunflowers, asking nothing but to say thank you. "You woke me up," she said. I didn't forgive her, not with words, anyway, but we shook hands. It was a start. We started a scholarship, a food truck project, even a mentorship program for young women of color. Journalists wrote about us. Podcasts aired our story, but I kept showing up, sweeping floors, listening to staff, leading from shoulder to shoulder. People kept asking, "Why didn't you kneel?" I never had a fancy answer. I just knew my grandmother didn't raise me to bow to cruelty. The day the city council gave me an award for community transformation, I wore my old uniform. I stood at the podium and saw a little girl in the front row, eyes wide, holding her father's hand. I told her, standing tall isn't about posture, it's about purpose. Now Uprise is opening in Detroit, and there's a line out the door, not just for the food, but for what the place stands for. People lay flowers on a table for all those who never got a seat. As I lock up at night, I hear my mother's voice, "We made it, Maya." I smile because in a world that still asks so many to kneel, we build a table where everyone rises. And you know what? I want to hear from you. Would you have stood up, or would you have tried to keep the peace? Do you think dignity is worth more than comfort? Let's talk about it, because the conversation is just getting started.